Right, you guys can hear me, can't you? Jeff, very. You think you've seen that picture before? Right, yeah. um, good. Jeff, very kind of you to say so. Yeah, it's all good. Taking taking some time out. Um, okay, so where are we at? We'll start with the charts that you guys love so much. Let me get up there. Yep. All right. All right. So Aussie dollar seems to have a little bit of divergence here. Certainly at the in the buy zone, we have a low test bar overnight. Looks like it's setting up for a higher high, higher low. So there's potential entry there tomorrow morning, depending on obviously how big this bar is. You don't want it to ruin your risk reward ratio. Yep, that's a phase 2. So that's looking all right. Recording, yes, thank you, Duncan. Yes, for recording. Aussie CAD. Is it? Yeah, there is divergence across here. Are we, is there a horizontal level that it's bouncing off? Well, yeah, you could say these highs here. Is it a strong level? Well, that's a little debatable, I suppose. Are we in extension zone? Yep. So there's another one. I don't expect you guys to be taking all of these trades, but doing your checklist for each one, making sure that, yeah, Aussie seeing there is no divergence, so that's not one. Sorry, Aussie Swiss. Doing your checklist for all of them, making sure that you're taking the better setups. Okay. That could be a problem here is that you fail to make a higher high really after this. Looks just a bit messy in the cyclicity. Aussie Kiwi. This thing has minor divergence. We'd basically call it Class C, I would have thought. Yep. But what we don't have yet is any sign of buying. And that effectively we'll call it $1.12 low was now will now become resistance, so we need to sort of get back above that too. Was looking like a great trade, but still yet to sort of make itself apparent. Cracking. Another one, not quite divergent yet. Well, Class C, you'd say. That's a great retest there, wasn't it? Yeah, need to see a little bit more buying, but it's the same as the Aussie dollar. CAD. Bit of fun around Iran. Big resistance across here from 0550, effectively. It's tested that. Again, 2 major high test bars. No divergence, unfortunately. But I was looking at this yesterday off this high test bar. Oil seems to stop sliding and is already bouncing. I think that maybe they were thinking that it's buy the rumor, sell the fact. So, coming days, that might be something worth looking at. CAD Swissy is well into phase one. Nice low test bar. You're not in extensions though, so there's potentially there could be more to this downside. Those of you can look at the 4 hour. And I wouldn't get into that just yet either. It's more about management. There's no entry for us just yet. Really, it's just dull, this. Dollar Swiss. Slow deterioration. I do see this more as range bound though. We're just going from here because of this high. Broke this high, that's now getting higher highs. We were also getting lower lows. Some people shorted this, I'm not so certain about that. Nice high test there to look to go short. But the cyclicity, I don't see it as clean as others. More kind of range bound, if anything. Yeah. Swiss yen should be having your stops underneath that. It's a high test bar in the sell zone. If you are long this, that's your job now is to start protecting your profit. You can get your stop loss underneath that. If you're looking to go short, we can't do that yet. We don't have the divergence. So this is just about profit protection. Euro. Okay. This one I do like. I know some of you people are trying to get in here on the daily. I'm looking at the 4 hour. If you look at it on MetaTrader, it looks a hell of a lot better. Yep. Little ring low on the 4 hour. Just inching up there to get us in. Jeez, the spread is wide on this thing. What is that? 21 to 3 pip spread. That's bullshit. AxiTrader. Yeah, so I like this on the 4 hour. We can see that we've got a Fibonacci from there to there. We've come down and tested the 618 on that move. That's this one here, bounced off the 618. You could even do, and now I'll do a little fib from here to here. And that's the 382. Or potentially you go from that point there. Again, this is 618. More importantly, it's that one there. That's the weekly fib. Right. That's that weekly fib I have on it. It's bounced off that nicely. So I'm just looking for 200 pips out of it. Not asking for much. Just to get it back up here. It should be 4 times your risk because it's a 50 pip stop. Until the orders pile into that one now. Euro Aussie. Like the Swiss yen, you should be in capital protection. It's tested that nicely. You should be looking to get out of your long trades. Is there a short trade? No, not yet. I'd say that's the same. Euro CAD, nice test of that horizontal which had sitting there. Again, you should be in profit protection. Euro pound, Not really exciting, is it? Euro yen. Euro yen, like the Swiss yen, again should be in capital protection. Okay, it's had a good run. Lock in your profit. We're coming up to the end of the month, and those of you who are negative, you should be sort of taking profit when it's on the table. I had an entry for Euro long daily, but removed as was not triggered on the ring low. Is there an opportunity still on the daily? Well, that's not a higher high, higher low. Just 86. What? 34.86. No. 57.60. It is a higher high, higher low, which is, showing sentiment. The fact that it bounced off that. This is a seller bar, which, by rights, you wouldn't be placing an order there. But yeah, you could comfortably say that if it gets back up here, then the buying sentiment that you expected is still there. So you could get away with doing that. Euro Kiwi. It's just messy, isn't it? We got a range bar here. Flat MAs. Just messy. That's what the Kiwi is. Yes, the euro dollar does look good on the 4 hour. That's why we have an order, ring low. Those of you can trade 4 hour should be doing that. Looking at that. I can't really see anything in this. Oh, stop it. You got highs and then you got low lows. You got mini cycles. I was looking at this as a range trade, but that doesn't. It looks a bit weak, as if it's not going to get up there. Possibly eventually will, because I think the Kiwi is going to be under a lot of pressure coming into Christmas. Yeah, it's just nothing there for today. Pound. It's looking decidedly a little weak, especially against the US. Again, there's nothing there that I'd like to sort of participate in, even in the 4 hour. No, having seen that, that is rather a hell of a lot better, doesn't it? Again, go through your checklist and see which one's the better setup, whether it's the pound or the euro. Got divergence here. Bullshit and divergence. Does the euro have that? No, the euro doesn't. There you go. Well, I think the only problem with this is you're limited on the outside to 63, as everyone knows that that's going to get tested. So you're looking at 50 pips, and that's 120 pips away. At least it's 1 to 2. Might be worth having a look for those of you who can do that. So you can see that the 4-hour process is the same as the daily. You just got to have a good strong trend going in the daily before you start looking at the lower time frames. Well and truly in the sell zone for phase 2. Phase 2. You've got class C divergence. Yep. The phase 2 trade, which is taking the opposite direction to the Aussie dollar. So you're selling the pound, we're buying US, we're buying pounds. Buying the pound is selling US, and selling this is buying the Aussie. So that's basically buying the Aussie dollar. If you trade the pound US and you long and you sell this, you're effectively buying the Aussie dollar. Yep, should be in profit protection mode. In fact, in profit protection mode. I closed down some of my position yesterday, you can see there. This one here is still in there. Let's move that a bit closer. I should just get out of it, but I'll do. Yeah, so we're in the exhaustion area, we're in the sell area. Also do think this is going to continue going long. Eventually, you'll get a pullback and get another entry in. Okay. Pound Swiss was the one we were looking at yesterday for shorting opportunities. I don't think it got us in. Nope. Just an inside bar. It's a seller bar now. Still got that divergence there. That is a high test bar, so you could still be placing your order underneath this bar here for an entry. Are you trading it all the way across? Even to here is better than 1-to-1. I don't see the cyclicity there for a trade just to the 50 EMA. It's just there's too much resistance there for it at this stage. There's another one that you really need to be protecting your capital or protecting your profit. Certainly overcooked. If I was looking to go short later this week in the pound CAD, where would compare RSI from? The high on the 14th or the 25th. Well, you need to, yeah, high on the 14th here, right? No, that high, you mean? No. You'd need to see a similar high, like another high up here, and then you're taking that, you'd then be looking to take that, seeing the divergence there. So you may not get divergence. It can happen, like this one here. There was no divergence, or not in RSI anyway. You may not get divergence. Stochastic. You could say there's divergence there from this cycle to that cycle. MACD. Not really getting divergence there either. You could potentially say again from that cycle to that cycle. And an RSI, I'd give you that. That makes sense. Pound Kiwi. Range trade, seller bar, another seller bar. Again, there's no divergence. If you're range trading it, How close did you get? 70 pips. I'd still be patient on that. Yen coming back into my zone, into my web, little fly, sorry. Kiwi, yeah, just a dog's breakfast again. There's like, I'd rather stay away. Pound cat, okay. You could be looking at the pound cat if you wanted to say, there's your divergence. Yep. You'd be looking at it like that. Quite literally. There's your stochastics is showing the divergence there. Even your MACD is showing divergence across those three highs. RSI is showing us slightly lower, but yeah, you wouldn't be looking at this high because that's, there's a higher high just in front of it. So there's your phase 2 and there's your new phase 1. So you could compare it to the previous cycle. Right. Kiwi, no thanks. Kiwi yen. But no, the Aussie yen, you'd be interested in it, but it's not really sort of setting the world on fire compared to the other yen crosses. Dollar Sing. It's not sure which way it wants to go. And so neither am I. Rand. I know this is meant to be a range trade. Well, if it is a range trade, you should be at least at break even. If you believe this is now cycling, there's your first cycle above the EMA, then there's potential. Wait for tomorrow. That's what today's far as a higher high in the morning and a higher low. Then you'll be looking to take that long. It's not necessarily overdone yet, but certainly getting down there towards the other side of the range. Okay, so got a few phase 2 setting up. We need to see the cyclicity. Yeah. Okay. Right, to your questions. Your questions. First one, fundamentals. Gentleman says, I'm pretty good at reading the charts. My problem is I don't know anything fundamentally. I read the news, but I don't understand in what way it will affect the market, and pretty much know nothing about the actual currencies and where they are going other than what the chart is showing me. Just wondering if there's anyone I can talk to about learning a lot more about it. I have plenty of time and super keen to learn, so any books I can read or talk to someone that can show me things to do. Okay. Places to go is, you got a Flying Trader to read up on. Market Spectator. This comes out every morning, and that's a pretty good rundown on what's going on. Bloomberg News is another place to research, and Zero Hedge is how China's stunning. This is where you'll see articles like this that you never see anywhere else. Jeez. Yeah. And books. Well, I've got truckloads of books. Some good ones. And Market Wizards. This is more more about the psychology of trading. Market Wizards. Yeah, the secret reminiscence of a stock operator is also good. That was one of the first books I read. Another one is the Psychology of Trading by Elliot. Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas is another good one. Where is it? Alexander Elder. Sorry, Trading for a Living by Dr. Alexander Elder is a good one. In terms of learning about fundamentals, it's. I would suggest go and contact Kaplan. Kaplan is, where the professional people, such as myself, need to maintain their licenses, do their education. You go into Kaplan and you get all sorts of courses where you could learn, professional education. That's for, like myself, higher education, and that gives you a good rundown on the fundamentals, and you can do it online at your own pace. So that's another good source, and that goes for all of you. How'd that go? Yeah. So this is obviously you don't need to be a financial planner, but an RG146 is the one that we all need as being in the industry. But you could come and do courses. You don't need to be a licensed person, but if you go and do that course, it'll give you a good idea of sort of sentiment and fundamentals. Anyway, level 1 diploma. Yeah. Again, I don't know if you need to be a financial planner, but that's where I would go, or some other sort of online business school where you could learn about the fundamentals. Okay, observations. What do we got? Aussie dollar is approaching support and fib. RSI is showing signs of bullish divergence. Reversal bullish reversal divergence, yes. Good phase 2, yes. Yes, I agree with you. Yep, it's in that area. 91's a good area to bounce off. Whoa, yeah, this is. Formed a ring lower for 50 fib cluster and support at 93. RSI is showing convergence and target sell zone of the fib extension shows good risk reward. Up here. Yeah, I just don't see this as that's nice cyclicity, and then this is just crap. So I don't know about that one. I think that's a line ball. This one, yeah, what do we got? Pound Aussie, I think well overextended, high test bar, class C divergence, yes. Lower low, lower high, yep. Good phase 2, yes. I agree with you. Okay, how much? Yeah. Sorry, there's some questions online. How much does the Kaplan thing cost? I think it's about $1,000. It's not all. It depends on if you're just wanting to do a course or you're wanting to do what they call continuation. Basically, you need to continue trading, keeping your license up to date. They do charge you, quite a bit for that. But if you're looking just to do a course, I think it's about $900 or something. Not necessarily cheap, but CDP. This is continue professional development. It's what we have to do. It's like effectively an hour or 2 hours a month of online training to keep up to speed with the latest developments in law and decisions and things like that. Yes, I think as I said I think that's looking like a good ring high phase 2 trade. Okay, pound CAD. I'm in this trade movement stop to 69.53. 2 high test bars. I think they're well into the sell zone, showing Class C divergence. So if any of these good reason, tighten stop. Yes, kept it in underneath the second one, as I have, which I think is probably getting very close to taking out. Yeah. Pound Kiwi weekly stochastic divergence instead of RSI divergence. All right. What do you think of the setup? Where's your target on this thing? That's your key. That's your weekly. You're targeting the 50. I don't know if that's. I thought this was in a range, $1.90 to $2. Yeah, 1,000 pips. And I'm bearish Kiwi, so personally I think that's still going. I can't fault your decisions here though, in the sense that being the, you've got all of the you've got all the reasons there for it. Yeah, I can't fault your analysis, mate, but I don't necessarily agree personally. I think it's probably going the other way. Eventually, we'll go the other way. Where was I up to? Emails. Dollar Sing Long. Oh, sorry, Aussie Sing Long. All right. Let's have a look. Yep. Assuming we get buyers next few days, do I enter today or tomorrow? Unless it's a trend continuation, it depends on the point of reference. Well, point of reference is your 50 EMA, so you're at the end of phase 1, not the end of phase. Yeah. Look at the daily from the low of 8th of August. I have a fib retracement phase 2. Okay, you're thinking that's phase 1 and this is phase 2. Yeah, if you're on the weekly, yes, maybe. Let's change this to weekly, and that might be it. Well, that's phase 1 and this is phase 2. Personally, quite literally, you're at here's your 50 EMA, you're at the end of it, and that's where your target would probably end up being around here somewhere, $1.16. Well, that's where you'll probably get it by the time the 50 catches up to the price, unless it moves really quickly like that. But it's a phase 2 trade, so you've got horizontal support. You've got a horizontal support level, $1.14. Yep, you've got RSI divergence, bullish price action, fib extension. Yep, it all looks good. The only thing, if you can't be looking at the 4 hour, okay? I don't want trading the 4 hour phase 2 when the daily is also doing a phase 2. Okay, don't mind trading the 4 hour phase 2 up here when you've got the daily going into phase 1, but I think this is a far much higher risk in trying to do the 4 hour at this point. Okay. Currently short CAD Swiss. Trade will stop 2 times risk. Nice one. Long Aussie yen. Where's the stop? Cool. Good work. Okay. Trading plan. Trading plan. Sticking to your trading plan here. Can you discuss this in the webinar and how to draw up a detailed, effective plan? Yeah, look, a trading plan is, you need to have a clear and concise trading plan in terms of what you're trying to achieve and how you're trying to achieve it effectively. And so you know what to do when you when things go wrong. All right, so this is something that you could complete. So in terms of going through this, what are your trading goals? What are your monthly trading goals? Instruments and timeframes. Well, that's all pretty simple. What is my purpose for trading? Affirmations, what my strengths and weaknesses are. I've had a couple of people really put a lot of time and effort into this, and I think that's a great thing, and they're succeeding, by following that, knowing what to do, and when to do it, because they've got it written there, and they have a complete and concise understanding of where to go and when to do it. So routines, what's your daily and weekly and monthly, reviewing trades, pre-market routine, pre-market routine, where did I go? Yeah, pre-market routine, open routine, post-market routine, risk management, right? This is very important. What is your overall sector risk, broker and hardware risk, record keeping? What strategies should I never trade? Well, you've only got 3 strategies that you're trading. So, phase 1, trend continuation, phase 2, trend reversal, and range reversals, right? Reviewing trades, record keeping, rewards and punishment, all this is a trading plan, and you combine this with your checklists, and that's a really effective trading plan. What's the reasons for getting into the trade, and what's the reasons for getting out of the trade, and then you've got a complete approach to trading. Just send me an email if you want that, and I'll get it to you. Okay, it's not a problem. All right, potential trades, Aussie dollar. Strong level of support. Yep. RSI divergence. Yes. Bullish price action. Still waiting on it. Divergent fib extension level. Yeah. I don't think we need to. Okay. We've put it. Yes. Bullish price action. Look, that low test bar, whilst that normally is bullish price action, I'd be a little hesitant about just trading on that when you're doing phase 2. Okay. I really want you guys to get into that habit of waiting for that 3rd bar on phase 2. If it's a low test bar on the, at the start of phase 1, like in here, if it was a low test bar, then you could get a little more aggressive and not wait for that entry, because you're going with the market sentiment, right? Here you're clearly going against the market sentiment, so wait for that extra bar. And if it's a huge extended bar and it ruins your risk reward and you don't do a trade, so be it. Tough. We need to sort of move on, but this is all good. Just wait for that extra day. Dollar CAD. CAD risk reward is not good. Well, if you're going to the 50, I'd say that is the case. I do like this as a potential phase 2 trade or getting short, but I would look at the CAD as not cycling along the 50 EMA. I'd say it's cycling along at least the 200 or that trend line that you've got there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So either way, the 200 or that trend line, now you are getting a decent risk reward. Bit of some major support here at 104.20. But yeah, you start off saying, well, this is where I'm going to target, because that's what it's cycling along, more so than the 50. but everything else is there that you've noted, and I agree with you. Yeah. And your Fibonacci, you haven't got a fib extensions in there, okay? You've just got this retracement there. That's all I can see. Your fib extension, as you can see, I've drawn this one here. You could also sort of potentially draw that and say, yeah, you're in the 1.2, but I'd say that's your last major down move, and we can see that it's in that area. Question, right. The situation I see regularly makes me hesitate getting into daily trades and occasionally makes me close a trade. I saw the following chart of the euro, right? Unfortunately, mate, I can't pull that out without showing everybody who you are. But there's a swing low. Let's look at the euro. And, euro, and you're looking at this bar here. Yep, right. So that's the one you highlighted, I think it was. Yeah. Right. Monday there was a swing low and it had a number of points going for it, so I thought maybe a trade here. Yeah, there was. It's a swing low. You needed a bit more of a horizontal support like this one here. You can see that that's quite a decent support level. I then looked at the 4-hour chart to see that would give a better entry. What I saw was a potentially turning point on the 4-hour where price may be about to turn off the 200 SMA, as it had done before, and complete a cycle below it. It's also at this point RSI was getting overdone on the 4-hour. This time was not good for the daily chart, and I didn't want to enter and only see price immediately turn. As it turns out, price on the daily was so I've been triggered in if I had traded and the price did turn. Well, it depends. On the daily. This high was 57, and this high is, where is that bar? Well, that high is 59, so it's only 2 pips, so you might have got taken in by the spread or something. If you look at the 4-hour, yeah, at this point in time, the 4-hour was probably overcooked. But if you traded the daily, your stop would have been under here, obviously, and you'd, you wouldn't be threatened at all if you're going to take the trade on the daily time frame. This move is not good for the daily chart, and I didn't want to enter. As it turns out, the price on the also been triggered in. The jury is still out as to whether this turns out to be a positive daily trade that I didn't go for. What I want to know is how you might deal with these situations. I see them regularly, and then I don't know what to do. Well, within the market, if the market's trending, you will always get the cyclicity. We can see along this run here, the 4-hour did give us some good cyclicity. Yep, and you'll get that no matter what. So you should be able to generate a entry on the 4-hour at some point in time. My biggest thing would have been, if you're in doubt, stay out. I wasn't so certain about this swing low as other people were, because I didn't see it really bouncing off any major support here. But I do like it now that it's back above that, as we can see in a signal. It's back above that support line, that Fibonacci that I've got, back above the 50 EMA. RSI on the daily is far from overcooked. We've got plenty of momentum on the upside, plenty of room for us to get a successful trade in on the daily. Sorry, there's plenty of room in the daily for us to get a successful trade on the 4-hour. So, mate, I know you're online there. I hope that sort of answered your question. All right. Appreciate that, Colin. Your comments. It's very nice of you. And that's about it, guys. I've sort of gone through all the emails, I think. All right. From the FX Charts daily email this morning, the deal to ease Iranian sanctions in return for a compromise in its nuclear development program has been the main event today, triggering enthusiasm to buy the US dollar. Yeah, I don't know why they would buy the US dollar on the back of the Iranian dealing. The only thing I would suspect is why people would go into the safe haven of the US dollar is if they think that the Iranians have basically suckered the UN into lifting the sanctions. They're not going to, and that they're going to continue to, enrich uranium for nuclear. That's the only thing I can think of. I really don't know why you'd be buying US dollar on the back of that. You'd be selling it. I think it's a good thing for global peace and prosperity. The Israel might be a little pissed off, but I'm sure they'll do some covert operations like they've already been doing and killing scientists off. Okay. That's about it for today, guys. I'll shall see you tomorrow, unless you've got any other sort of questions. Nope. Happy days. We'll chat again tomorrow.